Blackfoot Communications is actively supporting the communities we serve across Montana and Idaho. We are installing hundreds of miles of fiber in our service territories, increasing the broadband experience in our rural communities. We are delivering remote workforce solutions for our business communities. We are creating new, innovative solutions for our local entrepreneurs and enterprise organizations. Learn how your company can benefit. Call today at 541-5000 or go to blackfootbusiness.com. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
We'll open it up to anyone that wants to ask these guys questions.
I'll start. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Cam, I guess I'll start with you. Kind of similar start to Thursday. They just got ahead. I mean, what was the biggest thing that really just wasn't working for you all today?
I would say just getting stops in general. I felt like our transition defense was a little bit better, but they were still kind of getting anything they wanted. I think someone said the score at the end of the game was the exact same score as our very first game we played. So, I mean, I don't know if you could really call that a lot of improvement, but it seemed like they just got anything that they wanted, like Aiken 28, Meadows 20, Tanner Groves 14. That doesn't seem like a lot of restriction right there for those guys. So, and they're a good team. You can't let a good team get going early. We only had 3 points in the first media. That doesn't help.
You, Josh, I know kind of a silver lining for you guys is you had a pretty good game. I think I haven't looked at the sheet, but I think you had like 16 or 18 points, right? Something like that.
He had 20 and 9.
So, looking at, the positive aspects of that, how do you sort of like take that good and reflect on that as you guys move forward in the final home stretch?
It's not about any sort of one individual. I think as a team, we just got to continue to get better. Like we improved in some areas today. Other areas we still got to improve. They're a good team, but we just got to continue to grow in these next 4 games heading towards the tournament.
In particular, I mean, there's obviously a lot you could look at, but where are the biggest points of emphasis for growth for you guys right now?
Look, defensively, when you give up 90 points, there's a lot of issues. Particularly guys, we're just letting get into a rhythm early. We need to be a bit more disruptive on the defensive end.
I would say rebounding too.
And rebound.
With Steg gone, like we just got a lot shorter. So when coach plays 3 guards and stuff like that, just getting rebounds and, not being liabilities out there on defense, I would say.
For either of you guys, I mean, this is the first time that you've played Eastern, and they've lost to Montana in some big games, and you could tell that there's some pent up emotions for them in facing you guys. Like, could you guys feel that, and what's it like when a lot of you guys haven't faced them, but they definitely have been wanting to try and beat you guys?
Well, obviously, like in both games, they came out very aggressive. But regardless of who we play, we have to treat every team with a certain amount of respect, and it's on us to be better early in the game. We got to come out and fight for a full 40 minutes, and we haven't done that the past couple games.
Yeah, and I would say now, like most of the teams that we play, I feel like they're all the same. Like everyone wants to beat Montana. Like we have a target on our back. Like Coach Trav told us that after the game, but it's hard, like, being the new guys and then coming into a place where the target is already on our back, so everyone is getting geared up to play us. But honestly, I feel like that would be more of a bigger thing if like the crowd was there and stuff like that. Like maybe like if we were at Eastern Washington, maybe we weren't used to like, the noise, stuff like that. But with no crowd, every team's kind of the same at this point.
At this point, is it maybe just a hey, remember how bad it feels to lose and just, hold on to that and use that as motivation moving forward and hope to never, feel that, stuff like this again?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we don't have any seniors. It's nobody that's not going to be here next year, to our knowledge so far. But we definitely remember everything that everyone says to us, coaches, players, stuff like that. So within the next 2 years, we'll definitely be ready. But we're not overlooking the season at all either. We still have a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Last one for me, Josh, for you, like it was such a clunky start and you could pick up 2 fouls within a minute. You know, how hard is it to get a game started and into a rhythm when there's like, you know, there's just a ton of whistles to start?
Oh, that's on me. I got to play with my hands out. I put my hands in there on that first one, and you know, I got to be better than that. Getting 2 fouls on a possession, that's just not smart basketball. Start of the game. So, like, I just got to be better. But it's getting into a rhythm. Like, you just put yourself out there with the team. You just focus on team success rather than an individual, and then like it shouldn't. Getting into a rhythm's no problem.
And he kept a good attitude all game. He could have had the 2 fouls and, you know, went over there and sulked and made it about him, but he still stayed positive. And I think that's contagious when you go back out on the floor already having a good attitude instead of just, all right, how am I going to try to get mine since I missed my minutes?
Thanks, guys.
Josh, what's it like playing against 2 of the better big guys in the league in Aiken and Groves, and how can that maybe help you as a player?
Yeah, they're good players. I like to compete against whoever it is I'm playing. It's like regardless of, you know, guys averaging whatever they're averaging at the end of the day. But it's a team battle. But it's good for me as a young player to grow playing against those older guys.
And then you guys scored 49 in the second half compared to 27 in the first. What was it kind of like the halftime talk like, and what was kind of the mentality coming into the second half?
I would just say, you know, to move the ball, like just to not be stagnant and cut for each other, to push it and look ahead, you know, just to look for each other. Sometimes we go plays where we have 1 pass, 2 passes, if that, and that's not really moving the defense at all, or it's not really hard to guard that when just one person attacks and shoots the ball. So Coach Trav kind of just said, you know, when you get in the paint, just look out for each other, and if you come to a jump stop, people will be there. So.
Hey guys, I just have a couple for them. Josh, they didn't even shoot a 3 in the first half. Did you feel like it was a concerted effort for Eastern to go into the paint, or was that just what was that a product of, the fact that because they usually spread the floor so well?
Wait, sorry, I missed the first part.
Eastern didn't even shoot a 3 in the first half. And so,
they didn't attempt a 3 in the first half?
No, not until the very last one, the one that beat the buzzer. That was the first 3 that they shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was just, could you tell that they were trying to get it into the paint, or what was that a product of?
Look, they scored, 49 points in the first half?
Yeah.
They were just inside. They were very dominant. And when you're doing that, well, you don't need to shoot it. Like they were super efficient scoring the ball, and obviously they made a concerted effort to go inside. And we got to man up. We got to find a way to be more physical and keep fighting.
And Cam, what do you think is the missing ingredient right now? What is the thing that you guys need to get this thing back on track?
I would say just our defense, and, you know, everyone just having a positive attitude. Like it's 1 or 2 ways we could go about it. We could think like, hey, we have 2 more series left, and we get bounced in the first round, and then it's a COVID year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or we could turn it around right now and, you know, be positive. We got Idaho State, and then, you know, it's our conference tournament after that. So we're going to come into practice on Monday prepared and ready to go. And, you know, we're obviously sad that we've lost this many games, but I think that is kind of making us angry in a way, and is going to make us more aggressive for these next couple of games and just to finish out the season.
And Josh, I don't need a quote on this or anything. I was just curious. Do you know the 2 Australian guys on Eastern?
Yeah, Tyler Robertson. I played. He's from the same state as me. So
cool.
And we played on some state teams together.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. We'll have Coach here in a minute.
Blackfoot Communications is actively supporting the communities we serve across Montana and Idaho. We are installing hundreds of miles of fiber in our service territories, increasing the broadband experience in our rural communities. We are delivering remote workforce solutions for our business communities. We are creating new, innovative solutions for our local entrepreneurs and enterprise organizations. Learn how your company can benefit. Call today at 541-5000 or go to blackfootbusiness.com. Blackfoot Communications. Connect to more.
Better team won. They're a well-oiled machine right now, scoring at a very high rate. Their pace offensively, their versatility is very tough to slow down. Once we found ways to get our offense going, we were fine, but we just found ourselves in a hole we couldn't dig ourselves out of. So, congratulations to a team that's playing very good basketball right now. And we'll keep plugging away and try to improve going into the next week and see if we can build some momentum.
I'll start off. Coach, earlier when Cameron Parker was here, he said that you told the guys before the game that, quote, you all have like a target on your back. With just such a chippy, intense game and really serious as a whole, how much did you guys really feel that in that game today?
Well, we felt it in both games. And I think it's the difference between the Weber series and this one is that there's a group of guys on that team that have lost quite a few games to us in the last couple of years, especially some meaningful games with all the chips on the table. And so when you have guys that have experienced that, they're going to be excited and have a little extra intensity going into the game in terms of what they're playing for. And unfortunately for us, we don't have any guys that are really in rotation other than Mac that were along for some of those battles that we had with them. And so sometimes you don't know what you're getting into until you show up for the battle. And there was a little bit of that.
And, with just the home stretch coming up, last couple games this season, there's a lot you can look at. But what's the biggest thing that you think this team needs to focus on to finish out the regular season?
It's just putting it all together. If you really look at our numbers, we've had a series of guys play well. Pretty much everyone that's playing has played well. They just haven't put it all together on the same night, offensively or defensively. And so with such a young group, you just want to get to where you have a consistent approach to every game. And we're not there right now, and we hope to get there by Thursday.
You mentioned, obviously like the guys like Aiken and Groves, they remember these losses and they don't forget them and they use that as motivation. How much of it is telling your guys like, hey, remember how crappy this feels now and we'll make sure that we don't feel this again in the future? We've
been here before. And we did a good job of hitting the reset button and coming out and playing at a very high level a year later. And so we're going to keep plugging away and be the best basketball team we can be tomorrow. And then the day after that and the day after that. And see where we're at going into the conference tournament and make the most of that experience. And then just come back and work in the spring once the season's over. But right now, there's not anyone in our locker room that's ready for the season to be over. We're still grinding. So the most important piece for us right now is just to do what we need to do to be a better basketball team in our next opportunity. We'll worry about next year and all that stuff when that time presents itself.
Was it, they shot 23s the first matchup and not a lot in this one. Was that a product of them trying to get it inside, or you guys trying to run them off the line?
Some of it was us running them off the line, but they knew we weren't going to give up those shots. And we played small Thursday for long stretches, and I believe they just prepared for that and posted up our smaller guards.
When Bannon picks up, 2 fouls in the first 50-something seconds, how difficult is that for you and the team when it's kind of a clunky start and you have to maybe change up your rotations a little bit differently because you don't really expect guys to pick up 2 that early?
No, he was a big key to what we were going to do defensively, and we never got to it because of his 2 fouls. And, he could have been better on the second one. I don't know about the first one, but it's hard for us to play good defense when guys continue to have 2 fouls in the first couple minutes of games. and you know, some of our aggression's been backed off and makes it very difficult.
Hey, Travis, I'm wondering, you mentioned that nobody's ready for the season to be over. That's obviously a positive note. Do you believe that this team is getting close to a breakthrough? Do you believe you guys can make a run in March?
Did you feel that way last week?
Did I feel that way last week when?
Did you see a team that looked like they were ready to break through last week against Weber?
Yes.
Sure. For sure. There's just a difference between Weber and Eastern. There's two different teams, and teams match up differently with each other. And right now, that's a tough matchup for us that we'd have to figure out on our next opportunity. But right now, it's all about preparing for Idaho State. But I do feel like we have a group that is playing way better basketball in February than they were in January.
Coach, over half your team's points today actually came from freshmen, including 20 from Bannon, 16 from Beasley. Just how have you seen those guys progress so far this year?
They played well in every game. You know, those guys have shown signs of that all year. Like I say, we've got to become more consistent, right? Kyle Owens 3 games ago had 27, correct? And so DJ 14 and 15 minutes of play one game at Portland State. So, I mean, all these guys have jumped up and had big games. We just need everyone to play well at the same time.
And then you guys had 49 points in the second half compared to 27 in the first half. What was kind of the mentality going into the second half today?
Well, we made shots. A lot of it, we got some of the same shots. We got the free throw a lot more. I don't know how many free throws did we shoot in the second half compared to the first.
I can check. Give me a second here.
But I would imagine that played a fairly decent role in terms of the fact that when we got to the paint, the whistle blew for us along with them. And it was only blowing one way in the first half. So maybe they were more aggressive than we were getting to the paint. I thought we were in the paint quite a bit, but maybe they were just more aggressive than us in the first half. I don't know.